Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of hrtech's Tech Talks, where we focus on engaging with CHROs and HR tech experts to uncover the latest trends and insights in the realm of HR technology. I am Parekh, and I'm delighted to meet Alex Lam, CEO and co-founder of BOLDLY. Now, BOLDLY is one of the world's leading marketplaces for screened, qualified professional coaches. BOLDLY enables hyper-personalization staff development, impacting performance and wellness in all career stages. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you.
What do you think, Alex, are the top business and talent challenges faced by your clients today?
For our clients at BOLDLY, it's really a fundamental of how they get managers and teams communicating more effectively. And so this was something that was pre-pandemic, but it's definitely been accentuated by the pandemic, where people are now remote or we've got hybrid teams. And really, it's communicating of a day-to-day workplace nature, but specifically communicating with regards to development and skill development in particular. So this has become paramount, where people aren't just listening into each other's day-to-day work or listening into phone calls. They're having to be a lot more purposeful with how they communicate development. So yeah, that's something we're hearing about on a daily basis.
In your opinion, what do you say are the key trends at the workplace that you think will be a game changer for specifically for HR tech adoption?
For HR tech, well, we're hearing a lot about Chat GPT is paramount for our clients at the moment. So this is discussion around how is it going to be utilized, how is it going to make the employee experience stronger, how do we connect people to resources and really make sure that AI is being deployed inside our workplaces, and that it's still bringing much more of a human touch, that even if we know that we're talking to computers, how do we make sure that coaching or resources or learning that involve AI still gives much more of a human accentuated experience. So very topical for us.
Right. So does it scare HR? Does it scare managers out there that AI is going to be used for coaching?
I don't know if it scares them, but I think there's a big question mark about how. Where does this get involved? What's the major benefit? How is it going to impact the employee's experience? So it's just a big question mark as opposed to something that we're fearful of at this stage. I think there's definitely questions that will come down the track about ethics, about how the bias that comes through chat, who's programming it, whose voice is coming through, how do we make sure that we're in control of that? But for the time being, I feel like it's more of a curiosity.
We are all moving towards a more hybrid workplace. And so what do you think is the role that HR will play, in specifically around coaching, developing their leaders, and in an environment where digital transformation is going to be a lot more prevalent?
Well, it's definitely with regards to my first comment around managers and teams being able to collaborate and communicate in this hybrid world. They need the skills to be very purposeful with communication, to be purposeful with coaching and development of staff. And so HR really comes in to play a role there with language skills, with collaboration skills, with not just the technology, but really the fundamental human capability to make sure that teams are on the same page and that they're able to work together. So in this hybrid space, I think HR needs to make sure from a system perspective that the right tools and tech are in place. And then beyond that, that teams have the skills and managers have the skills to share their needs, to call out to each other, to give feedback, to make sure that they're observing and understanding each other's work outputs and experience.
Right. Yeah, I think certainly HR technology has really come into the fore specifically around how HR processes can be made a lot more accessible, a lot more seamless in a hybrid workplace. But nevertheless, some organizations still hesitate to invest in HR technology. Why do you think that's the case, and what can the ecosystem do about it?
So I think we've had a challenge with investment in HR technology because our HR tech stacks have just been so complex. They've grown over the years and sort of had these bolt-on features, but we haven't always focused on the continuity of the employee experience or the seamlessness of how those tech come together. And so really that's what I'm saying with my previous questions, is that although I'm in the HR tech industry, I believe in the power of HR tech. Actually, I think that what it's done at this stage is really bring us back to the human skills. Is the HR tech enabling us to do what we do as humans better, which is communicate, which is collaborate, which is build teams better? And so everything I think with HR tech is, how do we create more simplicity? How do we create almost HR tech that sits in the background, that doesn't have to be the focal point of an experience for employees, but that enables them to have their human touch? So the challenge that we have is that we have a lot of legacy HR tech, which is very clunky, very forefront, hard, it's incumbent. So it's very hard for us to pull back out of and to create these much more user experience focuses. So I think that's what we're seeing with HR is using their existing HR tech, working with it, working around it, trying to migrate in some cases away from it so that they can get back to the human experience, and that the next wave of HR tech that comes through has to be a no-brainer, essentially, with integration and emphasizing the human employee experience.
Exactly. I think it's a tall order, or certainly for many organizations out there. How does BOLDLY, for example, help your clients get the leadership buy-in that's needed for HR tech investment?
Well, to that point around clunky integrations and big security lifts and et cetera, the HR tech industry has suffered because of some of that, the heaviness of that lift. So what we do with BOLDLY is, BOLDLY is a marketplace. We actually went first and foremost down the path of SaaS integration, and we found all of that complexity of being able to work in with that legacy tech was just inhibiting us from really having the impact we wanted with companies. So we've pulled back from the SaaS model, and we're now a marketplace. So the marketplace model really allows HR to get buy-in from their leadership, because there's no integration, there's no heavy lift. It's really just take it off the shelf and deploy it for coaching. And so I think particularly for this interim period where HR are needing to show that they can get quick turnarounds and quick solutions happening for their businesses, that marketplace model is really helping us to get in quicker and not have to address sort of security problems and integration issues that we've seen in the past.
Great. And certainly, I think HR is not a profession that's seen to be very digitally savvy. How do you think we can encourage HR teams to be more data-driven and more savvy digitally about the way they do the jobs?
Well, I guess we do need to influence that, but I would say that it's no longer an option, it's just a requirement. One, of being in this modern world and of being in this business world, not just for HR, but all of our business units across companies are having to digitize and to focus on innovation. So for anybody who's already in the HR profession, I'd say it's imperative right now to get that skill set. Anybody who's coming in, to have that mindset right from the beginning. we're in a hybrid workplace. COVID shoved us into digitization very quickly, even if we weren't ready to go there. And our business units are already asking for it. Our employees are asking for it. So it's not enough to just understand competency models, understand our legal frameworks, understand our business partnering models. We really have to make sure that there's the modernization and that future of work focus. So in order to be relevant, let's do this. I'd say that's just as simple as it is.
So it's no longer a nice to have, it's a must have.
Nope, it's a must have, absolutely.
That's right. So finally, what advice would you give organizations out there of various sizes, hoping to start their digital HR journey, either in development, in coaching? What sort of advice would you have for them?
So it can be very easy to get sucked into the latest trend or a bell or a whistle, or it can be easy to make HR tech decisions based on budget. But I would say anybody who's starting out on this journey, take a human-centered design approach. Try not to be budget-driven, even though obviously that has to be a consideration. Try not to be trend-driven, even though that will come into your awareness. Really try to come at a first principle of what does this employee base need? What is the problem we're trying to address? And does this tech actually do that? I think it's very easy to get distracted unless you really, really focus on that human-centered design. So get to know your employees through interviews, through observation, through your employee engagement survey, through talking with consultants and having them help you really dig into the insights of what you're seeing from that data. And then once you've got that in your hands, then go out and address that problem or that challenge or that opportunity that you see in your employee base with tech, as opposed to reverse engineering it. So human-centered design is my biggest emphasis.
Thank you so much, Alex, for sharing your key insights. Really enjoyed the conversation, and we look forward to hosting you again in our upcoming sessions. And thank you everyone for joining in. Do look out for other editions of HR Tech Talks on our website. Thank you so much.